our 1/2, our 1/3, and our 1/4. Now, we talked yesterday about dividing our big pizza into half to share at our pizza party, into thirds to share at our pizza party, and into fourths to share at our pizza party. And we divided those into the correct amount of equal parts, whether it was 4 equal parts, whether it was 2 equal parts, or whether it was 3 equal parts, depending on which fraction we were using. So let's redo that again this morning. So over here on my circle is divided in half, means 2 equal parts, so our fraction is 1/2. Over here, we have 1, 2, 3 equal parts, so our fraction is 1/3. And over here in our last circle, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts, so our fraction is 1/4. Now, I'm so excited because today we get to bring something back that we did way back at one of the very first videos we watched in math. We get to bring back our alligator friends, greater than and less than signs. Now, when we used our greater than and less than signs before, we used them to put between numbers. So let's review. Okay, so for example, if I put the number 100 over here on this side of my board, and I put the number 55 over here, we remember that our greater than and less than signs, the alligator always wants to eat the bigger number. Our alligators are always hungry, ready to eat. So it wants to chomp the bigger number. So 155, which is greater, which is bigger? Well, you all know 100 is. So I'm going to pick the sign that's eating the number 100. I can see it's going to be my greater than sign. I'm going to move my greater than sign down. Everyone chomp with me. 1, 2, 3, chomp. It's going to eat my greater number, the number that is larger. It's not going to eat 55, but what if I did this? I erase my 55, and over here, I put 200. 100 and 200. I can't use my greater than sign, it's going to eat my 100. We have to switch, and we have to chomp our 200 because 200 is greater. So we need to use my less than sign because when you read this equation, it would say 100 is less than 200. So today, we're going to use our greater than and less than signs, but instead of using them with whole numbers, we're going to use them with our fraction. To help us out with those fractions, we are going to be using our pizza, just like yesterday. Everybody loves pizza, including alligators. So to start out with, we're going to bring over here the number, or the fraction, 1/2. And we're going to start by dividing my pizza into half, so we can remember what that looks like. So I'm going to take my line, I'm going to divide my pizza in half. I have 1/2 and 1/2. So here's my fraction 1/2. If I flip it over, I can see my pizza. So I'm going to put this over here, and I'm going to write 1/2. Now, we're going to look at the fraction 1/3. I know with the fraction 1/3, I need to divide my pizza into 3 equal parts. So I'm going to divide it here, I'm going to divide it here, and I'm going to divide it here. Okay, we have about 3 equal parts. If I flip over my fraction card here, it will show me 3 equal parts. And the blue part colored in is 1/3. The blue part colored in on the side is 1/2. It's one piece of that fraction. We're gonna write 1/3. Now, boys and girls, if you were at home and you were really hungry, and mom or dad said you could eat as much pizza as you want, but you had 2 options. Your first option was mom said you could eat half of a pizza. Now remember, when I divided my pizza in half, it looked like this. That would be eating all of this side. Or your second option, mom said, is you could eat 1/3 of a pizza. 1/3 of a pizza. So that would be dividing your pizza into 3 equal groups. That means you could only eat 1/3 of a pizza. The blue part shaded in. which one would you want to eat? You probably said 1/2 because half of a pizza is way bigger than a third. There's more here to eat than just at my 1/3. So boys and girls, we're gonna put a less than or greater sign than sign in the middle between these two fractions because we just figured out that 1/2 of a pizza is greater than 1/3. So I'm gonna take my alligator, I'm gonna put it in between, and I'm gonna see that 1/2 is greater than 1/3. So my greater than sign is going to go in the middle. If I were to write it like you will do on your paper today, it's going to look like that. 1/2 is greater than 1/3. Now sometimes this can be a little tricky. When you look at the fraction 1/2, the number you see on the bottom is 2. And when I look on the fraction 1/3, the number you see on the bottom is 3. Now I know when we're counting or adding, the number 3 is a greater number to the number 2. 3 is a bigger number than 2. But when we're doing fractions, we have to think about what this fraction represents, not just looking at the digit or the number on the bottom. We have to remember what it's representing. So I always want you to think of a pizza or some kind of food you're dividing into equal parts, because that will help us remember which is greater. Because 1/2 is a greater fraction than 1/3. Let's try another one. Let's break in our fraction 1/4. So I'm going to take away our half for right now. And we're just going to be looking at our 1/3. We practiced that over here, dividing our pizza into 3 equal groups. And now we're going to look at our 1/4. Okay, 1/4 means we need to divide our pizza into 4 equal parts. So I'm going to divide it. I'm going to write 1/4, and over here on my big board, I'm going to divide it in half and divide it in half. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 equal pieces. And the fraction 1/4 tells me this right here is 1/4 of our pizza, or this blue section right here is 1/4 of the circle. So now I'm going to decide. If you had the same option, mom or dad gave you the same option, hey, you can eat 1/4 of the pizza or you can eat 1/3 of the pizza. You're gonna think, which one of those options am I going to be able to eat more pizza? Just like our alligator's goal is to eat the most, to eat the greatest, that's what I want your goal to be. Which one is the greatest? Which one can I eat the most pizza? Well, I know 1/4 is a smaller area here than our 1/3. There's more pizza to be eaten in our fraction picture here of 1/3 than there is with 1/4. Now it's only a little bit more, okay? But it is more than 1/3. So here's my 1/4. But then if I erase this to remind you again of what that 1/3 looks like, if I divide it into those thirds, 1/3 has this whole area, whereas 1/4 would have chopped off a whole slice. So I know 1/3 is a bigger fraction than 1/4. So I'm going to look at my alligator mouth signs. I'm going to decide, do I want to choose greater than or less than? Well, between these two, I'm going to move my less than sign down, and my alligator mouth is going to eat that 1/3. So I would say 1/4 is less than 1/3. You always want your alligator mouth eating the bigger amount, which in this case is our 1/3. All right, boys and girls, maybe try this at home. Maybe convince mom and dad to have a pizza party at home, and you can practice dividing the pizza into different amounts and sharing it. Maybe have a certain amount of people around the table. Maybe a family of 4. Maybe just you and your sister split a whole pizza. Have fun at home. Enjoy practicing these fractions, practicing what is greater than and what is less than. Way to go, first grade. Missing you. See you later.